Hello and welcome to the News at 5. I am Olumide Macaulay. Thank you for joining us. The United Nations Children's Fund believes in over 4.5 million people who are in need of humanitarian assistance, according to the Nigeria Northeast region, which has been bedeviled by Boko Haram insurgency. The UNICEF country representative for Nigeria, Mrs. Wafa Saeed Abdul Latif, disclosed this in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, during a media briefing after her assessment of the challenges in the region. She states that the figure includes 2.5 million children who are at risk of acute malnutrition, as she reaffirms UNICEF's commitment to working with state governments in the region to improve the lives of children and families across the Northeast.
The issue of addressing immunization of children, especially reaching the zero-dose children, is a priority of the government that we are aligned to, because we are also aligning to support national priorities. That is something very critical, and that support is through having the cold chain, the community health workers, and working with the government on immunization of those kids. I spoke earlier about visiting the site, the Maiduguri Teaching Hospital. Also, when it comes to malnutrition, there is an estimate that there are 3.5 million severely, acutely malnourished children. That's a really high number. And severe acute malnutrition is the worst form of malnutrition. And a child, if the child, he or she, has severe acute malnutrition, if they are not treated, they are at risk maybe 11 times to die compared to a nourished child. So it's a very, very high risk. And I think in Nigeria, I believe both the political and operational conditions are at the right place, because I've also heard as part of my briefing and induction that malnutrition is treated something as a priority, as a national emergency, that the whole country has to come around and address malnutrition. Unlike other places where I have worked, the product that is used to treat children, there are factories in Nigeria that produce what is called ready-to-use food that has micronutrient and supplement that treat the children. In other places, it has to be brought from abroad, so it's more expensive, it takes more time, but this is also a good condition.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NATI, have pledged to partner to ensure greater transparency in the dealings of the hydrocarbon sector in Nigeria. The Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC Limited and Executive Secretary of NATI emphasized the importance of transparency to ensure an enabling environment for foreign direct investment. The two chief executives stated this during a courtesy visit by NATI executives to the NNPC management in Abuja. Our correspondent, Dele Omoyeni, reports.
The management of the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NATI, is at the headquarters of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited on a courtesy call to its management. The meeting is part of efforts to strengthen the nation's oil and gas industry's commitment to improving transparency.
I warmly congratulate all of you.
The Executive Secretary of NATI harps on increased partnership between both organizations for the good of the sector.
Renewed investor confidence and increasing indigenous ownership are reshaping the industry. These gains must not only be sustained, but expanded. As Nigeria's flagship national oil company, NNPC must stand firm as a modest model of transparency, accountability, efficiency, and civic engagement. These values are critical, not just to restore public trust, but to preserve and protect NNPC as Nigeria's greatest national asset and pride to our nation.
Some of the outcomes of the partnership include the setting up of a technical committee to enhance extractive sector governance in Nigeria, which will be preceded by a memorandum of understanding on data exchange, training and compliance to the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative standards.
I'd like to start by...
The Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited affirmed the company's commitment to implementing the principles of transparency and accountability in the extractive industry.
In terms of the areas of increased reporting, you have my commitment. Even before meeting with you, immediately you notice that we restated the monthly report. And we're improving on it month by month to ensure that we've also started to look at quite a number of internal processes and internal framework in terms of our own internal reporting structure to ensure that there is accuracy in the information that we provide and enhance that level of accuracy as well. So there have been quite a few internal improvements that we'll be putting in place just to make sure that things are going well. So you have my commitment that we will work on reinstating that report.
In the interim, the management of NNPC Limited has set up a NATI compliance office and assigned the chief finance officer to serve on the NATI board as required by law. Daily Omoyeni, Vision News.
Now, the Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream has reaffirmed its commitment to working with the executive and key stakeholders to implement sustainable reform aimed at stabilizing Nigeria's petroleum downstream sector and improving transparency in product supply and distribution. This followed their 5-day retreat held in Rivers State, where lawmakers, regulators, and industry experts deliberated on the lingering challenges facing the sector. The committee chairman, Senator Suleiman Kawu, explained that the exercise provided lawmakers the opportunity to review existing policies, evaluate industry concerns, and chart practical solutions to sectoral issues, including the protection of the rights of host communities.
To provide a roadmap for the oversight and legislative activities of the Senate Committee on Downstream sectors, ensuring that our interventions are strategic, impactful, and responsive to national needs. To critically evaluate the implementation of Petroleum Industry Act 2021, particularly the provision on the Midstream and Downstream Gas Infrastructure Fund and the Host Community Development Fund, which are pivotal for exclusivity, growth, and social justice. To strengthen the capacity of committee members to exercise effective oversight, appropriation, and legislative review, in line with the constitutional mandate of the National Assembly and the vision of the renewed Hope agenda. To deepen collaboration with stakeholders across government agencies, industry operation, host communities, and development partners, so that the downstream sector is not only commercially viable but also socially equitable and environmentally sustainable.
The federal government is assuring Nigerians that passports will now be delivered within 1 week of enrollment following sweeping reform in the issuance process. Now, the Minister of Interior, Mr. Olubunmi Tunjojo, gave the assurance in Abuja during the ministry's mid-10-year performance retreat. He explained that the new system is designed to eliminate long delays and extortion that once forced citizens to wait 6 to 7 months or pay as much as 200,000 naira to fast-track the process.
It is the mid-tenure performance retreat of the Ministry of Interior as heads of agencies under the ministry converge for the exercise. The delay in the issuance of passports and the extortion suffered by Nigerians is addressed as the ministry announces the introduction of the Centralized Personalization Center, the largest in Africa, which will ensure faster processing and stricter security.
The issue of passport approval, we will need to remove that power away from PCOs if we want it to work. Daily, there is no day that we do more than 10,000 passports. We don't. That's the truth. And for me, the way, since we introduced the centralized visa approval process in our headquarters, people get visas in less than 48 hours. Nobody, since that time, nobody, I've not had call, please help me with visa. It is now, you apply for e-visa, in 48 hours, you know yes or no.
With a reform aimed at curbing racketeering, eliminating delays and restoring integrity to Nigeria's travel documents. The minister also called for urgent reform of the Federal Fire Service, including a new legal framework to empower it and open the sector to private participation.
The fire service is very key to the economy of this country. There is no investor that will want to invest in a country where there is no emergency response. NEMA manages emergency, but who responds in case of an emergency is the Federal Fire Service anywhere in the world. The fire service is a rescue agency. We want to appeal because we are already working on our laws. The Fire Service Act of 1963 is very obsolete. In fact, the Fire Service Act does not speak to Federal Fire Service. It speaks to Fire Service of Lagos of 1963. And Lagos Colony is the Fire Service Act that we speak of. And we believe that especially when our population is increasing, we must look at areas of creating employment. And I believe, sincerely speaking, that just like it's done in Japan, just like it's done in China, just like it's done in so many other countries, even in the US, we must encourage private sector participation in the fire service.
Beyond passport and fire service reforms, the minister also criticized the frequent redeployment of officers across unrelated units in paramilitary agencies, describing it as wasteful and counterproductive.
The federal government says it's stepping up action to curb building collapse and enforce safety standards nationwide. This assurance came from the Minister of State for Housing and Urban Development, Mr. Yusuf Attah, at the inauguration of the National Building Code Advisory Committee in Abuja. The minister explained that the committee, last reconstituted in 2018, is key to checking substandard materials and quacks in the construction sector. He also added that members must deliver results through quarterly reports to the ministry to help protect lives, safeguard investment, and restore confidence in the built environment.
The National Building Code is one of the most important regulatory instruments on Nigeria's built environment. At its core, the code sets minimum standards on pre-design, design, construction, and post-construction stages, thereby ensuring quality, safety, and proficiency in our building industry. I expect to see tangible improvements in compliance, professional practice, and safety standards as a direct result of your work. Together, we must build a regulatory environment that protects lives, safeguards investment, and enhances the credibility of our building industry. The reconstitution of this advisory committee is a strategic step to safeguard lives, protect investments, and rebuild confidence in our construction sector. The rising incidence of building collapses, substandard practices, and environmental hazards demand a regulatory system that commands compliance and promotes sustainability. I therefore charge the members of this committee to bring to bear their professional competence, integrity, and patriotic commitment in discharging this scarce responsibility. The safety of our citizens, the durability of our infrastructure, and the resilience of our cities depend on the work we do here.
Enugu State Governor Peter Mbah has commissioned Niger Gas Company Limited, revamped and upgraded by his administration after 30 years of dormancy. Governor Mbah stated that the plant, with a production capacity of 100 cubic meters of oxygen per hour and 45 cubic meters of acetylene per hour, has so far created direct employment for over 100 skilled and semi-skilled workers and 5,000 indirect jobs across distribution, fabrication, transport, and supply chain. He emphasized that the revival of Niger Gas Company, which was established in 1962 by Dr. Michael Okpara, is another proof of his administration's commitment to revive state-owned Moribund assets and grow its economy from $4.4 billion to $30 billion.
Niger Gas Company Limited, located in Emene, Enugu East local government area, had been dormant for 30 years following its establishment in 1962 by the governor of the Eastern region, Michael Okpara. Its doors are being opened once again, this time under the administration of Governor Peter Mba. Residents of MNA welcomed the governor and other government officials to commission the upgraded company.
The revamp of natural gas.
The State Commissioner for Trade, Investment and Industry gives an overview of its new production capacity as well as expansion plans.
Natural gas will once again produce liquid oxygen, medical oxygen, industrial oxygen and acetylene gas. It will also expand to produce nitrogen, argon gas, industrial carbon dioxide and compressed natural gas.
While residents celebrate the expected impact of the plant, the project consultant commits to training young persons who might be interested in working at the natural gas plant.
Enugu State actually has seen great light, and your focus even in Enugu East is a thing of thanks. We want to thank you. We have celebrated a lot of openings in Enugu East.
We'll be undertaking plenty of training, and especially requesting all the universities around here to partner with us in such a way that when they come in, they could send in their engineers and scientists to do their industrial training with us. And this is also in line with the Smart School, which is a STEM-based curriculum.
Governor Peter Mba, flanked by members of his cabinet and other distinguished guests, goes on to commission the edifice.
And God the Holy Spirit.
And from one end of the plant to another, he inspects it. He again talks about the amount of jobs the plant will create and its economic impact.
This plant is now able to provide 100 skilled employment and about 5,000 indirect employment. Because what it means that you're going to have all the ecosystem from the suppliers, the traders, those providing logistics, packages, and what have you. They're all going to have employment. They're going to get active.
The Niger Gas Company is one of many moribund assets being revived by the Mba administration in Enugu State. He believes that the Assets Revival Initiative will help grow the state's economy from $4.4 billion to $30 billion.
The Anambra State Amalgamated Traders Association, ASMATA, an umbrella body of traders in the state, have endorsed Governor Chukwuma Soludo for a second term. At a solidarity rally tagged the day of celebration with Anambra traders held at the Chuba Ikpeazu Stadium, Onitsha, traders commended the governor for his impactful and people-oriented leadership.
The Chuba Ikpeazu Stadium is filled with traders from across Anambra State. They gathered to celebrate with Governor Chukwuma Soludo and openly endorse him for a second term in office. The atmosphere becomes electrified as the governor arrives. The traders insist their support is based on his friendly policies, development projects across the state, and the special programs they have benefited under his administration.
We have many special programs like One Youth, Two Skills, and beneficiaries can testify to the governor's support. There are rumors about people contesting elections in Anambra, but from our findings, you have no competitor. Those who came with brooms are nowhere to be found because Governor Soludo has already swept everywhere. I thank our governor for supporting us. When the apprenticeship training began, many doubted the government would give financial support. But in the end, we received checks of 500,000 each for apprentices, while others got 200 or 300,000 naira. I got 500,000 naira, and today I have my own shop at Ochanja selling handbags. This is really not made up. We speak only the truth about what the governor has done. and we believe he will do more.
Leaders of the association from different parts of the state take the podium with one voice and endorse Governor Soludo to continue in office. They also support him financially. A visibly delighted governor receives the gesture with gratitude, noting that even though campaigns are yet to begin, the people of Anambra are already speaking.
It's now a people's movement. Almost everywhere we go, the people themselves are contributing money for this election. We have not even started our campaign, but the people of Anambra are contributing.
Governor Soludo reminds the traders that in his 3 years in office, his administration has not borrowed to fund any of its infrastructure projects. He assures them that his government will continue to support Igba Boy, the Igbo apprenticeship system, through initiatives like the One Youth, Two Skills program and other empowerment schemes.
Against the backdrop of a weakened naira and tightening visa policies from key international destinations, a new trend is emerging in Nigeria's summer travel scene. A travel industry expert and managing director of Travel Den, Mr. Gbenga Onitulo, who was our guest today on Business Morning, explains how these economic and political headwinds are prompting a significant shift away from international trips. However, the move towards domestic tourism is not without its own challenges, as high operational costs for airlines, driven by regulatory fees, of course, continue to keep local airfares out of reach for many.
And at the moment, you will see you have more traffic on the side of the business travel at the moment. Because
so nobody's trying to go and...
No, there's still leisure.
So business is outpacing
somehow. Because corporations have to pay for travels. Individuals have to plan for travels. Families have to plan travels. But if you just looking at traffic data for 2024 versus 2025, if you look at from IATA's perspective in terms of growth, you will see there was a year-on-year growth like in 2024 was like about over 10% year-on-year. Right now we're at like the projection is about 5.8%. Regulators are not supposed to see aviation as money spinning for them, generate revenue for them. No, it's supposed to make travel seamless. It's supposed to make connectivity seamless for people. So people there can be trade, there can be business, there can be tourism. So, but when you have multiple taxation, for example, passenger service charge, 2,000 naira, you have VAT, VAT, you have this NG tax, you have this fuel tax. So when you have all those multiple taxation, at the end of the day, the cost of running for domestic carrier is already pegged at about 45–50%.
Let's bring you some company news now. Guaranty Trust Holding Company PLC, JITCO, says it has increased its investment in its subsidiary Guaranty Trust Bank Limited, GT Bank. In a notice to the Nigerian Exchange today, the company said it injected a fresh capital of 365.9 billion naira in the banking business. The company says the transaction was fully funded from the firm's two-phased equity capital raising program approved by shareholders at the 2024 annual general meeting and cleared by regulators. JITCO says the additional capital will be channeled into expanding GT Bank's branch network, growing its loan book and investment portfolio, and strengthening its information technology system. The holding company explained that it remains the sole shareholder of GT Bank, with none of its directors holding a direct or indirect stake in the bank. And that's it on the News at 5 today. Thank you for watching. I'm Olumide Macaulay.